Volume 2, Part 1, Chapter 1 of War and Peace. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by MaryAnnS. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, translated by Nathan Haskell Dole. Volume 2, Part 1, 1806 to 1811. Chapter 1. At the beginning of the year 1806, Nikolai Rostov went home on furlough. Denisov was also going to his home in Voronezh, and Rostov persuaded him to accompany him to Moscow and made him a visit. At the next to last post station, Denisov fell in with a comrade and drank 3 bottles of wine with him, and on the way to Moscow, in spite of the cradle holes on the road, did not once wake up, but lay stretched out in the bottom of the post sledge next to Rostov, who, in proportion as they approached the city, grew more and more impatient. Faster! Faster! Oh, these intolerable streets, shops, kalachki, lanterns, cab-drivers, thought Rostov, when, having left their names at the city gates as visitors on furlough, they had fairly entered the city. Denisov, we are here. Sleep, he exclaimed, leaning forward with his whole body, as though by this motion he could hope to increase the speed of the sledge. Denisov made no answer. There's the cross street, where Zakhar, the izvoschik, used to stand, and there's Zakhar himself, and the same horse, and here's the shop where we used to buy gingerbread. Hurry, there! Which house? Asked the driver. That one yonder, on the corner. That big one, can't you see it? That's our house, said Rostov. There, that's our house. Denisov! Denisov! We shall be there in a moment. Denisov lifted his head, coughed, and made no answer. Dmitri, said Rostov, calling to his valet on the coachman's seat, there is a light in our house, isn't there? Certainly there is. There's a light in your Papenka's room. They can't have gone to bed yet, eh? What do you think? See here, don't you forget it. I want my new Hungarian coat taken out, he added, stroking his young moustache. Now then, a little further, he cried to the postilion. Here, wake up, Vasha, turning to Denisov, who had again let his head fall back. Come now, get along. 3 silver roubles for vodka. Get on, shouted Rostov when the sledge was within 3 doors of his own entrance. It seemed to him that the horses did not move. At last the sledge drew up at the entrance at the right. Over his head Rostov saw the well-known cornice with the peeling stucco, the front doorsteps, the curbstone. He leaped out before the sledge had stopped and rushed into the entry. The house also stood as cold and motionless as though it had no concern with the one who was entering its portals. There was no one in the entry. My God, has anything happened? Thought Rostov, with a sinking at the heart, standing still for a minute, and then starting to run along the entry and up the well-known crooked stairs. There was still the same old door-handle, the untidiness of which always annoyed the countess, as loose and as much askew as ever. In the anteroom burned a single tallow candle. The old Michaela was asleep on the chest. Prokofy, the hall-boy, who was so strong that he could lift a coach by the back, was sitting making shoes out of selvage. As the door opened he looked up, and his sleepy, indifferent expression of countenance suddenly changed to one of awe and even fright. Heavens and earth! The young count! He cried, as soon as he recognized his young master. How does it happen, my dear boy? And Prokofy, trembling with emotion, rushed through the door into the drawing-room, evidently with the intention of announcing the good news, but then, on second thought, he came back and fell on his young baron's neck. All well? Asked Rostov, drawing away his arm. Yes, glory to God, glory to God. Only just done dinner. Let us have a look at you, your illustriousness. Are they all perfectly happy? Yes, salva Bohu, salva Bohu. Rostov had entirely forgotten about Denisov, not wishing anyone to announce his arrival. He pulled off his fur shuba and ran on his tiptoes into the great, dark drawing-room. Everything was the same card tables, the chandelier still in its covering. But some of the family must have seen the young baron, and hardly had he entered the drawing-room before there came with a rush like a tornado a small person who threw a pair of
Sample complete. Ready to continue?